Hi everyone, the Lone Wolf here, and welcome to EVE Talk, your weekly look at the market in EVE Online. And first of all, I'm going to say a thank you. I'll keep you anonymous, considering the name you used on Steam. I think that's probably the idea, but someone donated Stronghold Crusader 2 to me over Steam. Wow, that's a €35 game. Thank you so much. That's quite an honor, actually. Yeah, that's incredible. Thanks for that gift. Really appreciate it. It's not needed, so don't any of you other guys feel obligated to start giving me stuff all of a sudden. The videos I make, it's still a hobby. I've got a full-time job. I'm really fine where I'm at financially or anything like that. No need to worry. I'm also fine with my motivation to keep making the videos. But yeah, thanks a lot. That's coming out of the blue and just yeah, a little bit crazy to me. But I feel quite honored that someone would donate a game to me. Thanks a lot. When it comes to EVE Online, I hope everyone is starting to get excited for RIA. I know I am. It's looking like an incredible release with so much new stuff that yeah, I'm gonna have to make a video about the dev blog for sure. I think it's also going to start bringing in some veterans as well that have not been playing the game for a while, because things are moving at a brisk pace at the moment in EVE Online, and I think there's a lot of stuff that a lot of people have been waiting for a long time. This unfortunately will have an impact on the market, and if we go for plex, 907 million, and I'll write down 140 for that. So yeah, that is probably the highest it's ever been for plex. Not 100% sure, but I think so. If I go for the 1 month chart here, you can clearly see that in the last week plex have taken off quite substantially. And I do think all of the RIA releases, the Terra information, will have a big part in this. It knew a little spike up to, some people have said that it was as high as 912 million at one point. The data points are hesitant, but I do think we're off to increasing prices for plex until Terra is released. To me, this feels very reminiscent of a winter expansion. Where plexes would continually rise. In the end, they would almost rise vertically, you know, they would really take off quite hard. But then once the expansion was released, things did start to slow down, and then eventually during the springtime, plex would usually correct a little bit. This is of course the gamble. A lot of people are predicting plex at 1 billion pretty soon. I think that's possible because RIA is coming on December 9th, which is still a ways out, and there is still plenty of time for people to pour a lot of ISK into that plex market. I would personally not be surprised to indeed see plex rise as high as 1 billion before the RIA release. This is one thing you could speculate on, you know, is this going to happen? If you think so, you might want to actually buy a couple plex at these crazy prices and try to still make almost 10% in profit. But after that, it's a different story. Do you think that a plex price of 1 billion can be maintained when people no longer have the newness of the RIA release? Do you think that the releases after that will be able to maintain such momentum? It's really hard to predict, but at the moment, to me, this looks like a typical winter release reaction with very high plex prices that are driven a lot by speculation. Unfortunately, of course, the place where plexes takes off is almost 800 million, so I think 1 billion is in the cards. But after that is of course the real question: will plex be able to maintain such high prices, or are we finally going to see a real correction? A price of 1 billion is quite a psychological barrier, so it's very hard to predict. But I would say at the moment, to me, this is looking like it's taking off just like plexes used to take off before a winter expansion. So I would say look out. I don't think 1 billion is outside of the realm of possibilities. Let's move on to some minerals then. You may have seen from the bottom bar that tritanium has gone back up as well, back towards 570 or something. Yeah, 571 for the sellers, 558 for the buyers. Let's take a quick look here at supply demand, and god damn it, I do need to write down a time for that, so I'll probably take 545, something like that. Let me see here, 100 million, 600 million, a couple more of 100 million here, 500, 100, and then 1 billion. Is that one recent? That one is recent. I'm seeing more demand than supply for titanium here at the moment, so this movement is normal considering that. I would not be surprised that it can actually get a little bit of traction and get closer to 6 ISK at the moment. The reason I'm doing that is, one, there is a bit more demand than supply at the moment. Two, REA is looking really awesome, bringing in a lot of people back into the game, meaning more ships blowing up, more ships needing to be built, more demand in general. And four, if you look at the tracker below, you can see that almost everything is actually up this week, which is, I think, an unparalleled, something that we've never seen before. Usually there is some stuff going up, some stuff going down. Here we have everything going up except for the Caldari fuel blocks. I've never seen that before. Some percentages are almost mind-blowing. So yeah, I think we could be in an inflationary push here because of the REA release. That's my read on the market here. Let's have a look here at pyrite, managing to maintain its momentum. Because it's been going down for the entire month, I think that that's actually not a bad indication. Also adding to that, look at the 5-day moving average going above 20-day moving average and managed to maintain itself here. I would say supply demand is going to be very important for pyrite here. 100 million, 300 million, 100 million, 300 million. So I'm not seeing more demand than supply in pyrite here just yet. Maybe it needs to materialize. Maybe it needs to maybe it's not gonna happen. That's a possibility, but the fact that it's been able to maintain its price in the last week or so, I think is a very strong indication that it's actually doing a little bit better, considering it's coming from 11.40, it dropped down to 11.10, but now it's actually managed to maintain itself for a week. So I do think that's a little bit of a change of pace there. Let's see what Mexalon is doing. That one is going down. That one is obviously correcting, starting the month at almost 72 ISK, ending here at 61. That's a significant downtrend. Let's have a look at supply demand. That's more interesting. Look at that, 28 million, 14 million, a little bit lower, 40 million, 24 million, 35 million are the top three orders here. We get another one for 84 and one for 300 million. This one is 300 million is actually less than a day old. That's interesting. I'm seeing more demand than supply here. I would not be surprised that this is going to bottom out at 60 ISK and maybe even start to take off again if, like I suspect, the rest of the economy is also a little bit in a boom at the moment. Next up, Isogen, managing to maintain itself pretty decently above 117. Let's have a quick look at 3-month chart. Look where it comes from 134. The correction seems to have stalled a little bit. This chart is not that clear though. At the end you can see we're still going down for the week, but I think it's less pronounced. Let's have a look at supply demand here. There is more supply. There is no way around this 36 million, 40 million, 20 million. You're not seeing that until quite a little bit lower here in the buy orders. So there is more supply than demand in Isogen. This needs to be yeah, just basically used up by the market before we can expect Isogen to start going back up. So Isogen is going to continue to correct, I think, in at least the next few days because of this this higher supply here. So yeah, very interesting situation so far, I think, in the high-sec minerals. Let's have a look at the in-between one. This is Noxium, stalling its descent. 530, bouncing off of that 5-day moving average, starting to head towards the 20-day moving average. Pretty interesting. Let's have a look at supply demand here. A little bit more demand finally. 7 million, 3 million, 10 million, all of these less than a day old. 1 million, 1 million, or some of the bigger here, 6 million, still pretty decent. But yeah, oh, actually, yeah, still a lot of competition on the sell order sides, but we're finally seeing some more demand. So I would say it's possible that this is going to be the bottom, but the timing of it is a little bit weird as well, with the huge jump in prices by from plex and then all the Terra information. So I think it is possible that it's not the fundamentals of Noxium that have changed, but basically entire economy here that might be stalling this movement. Let's have a look at what Zydraine's been doing. Also seemingly stalling it. Let's have a quick look at the 3-month chart here. You can see that it comes off of a cratering and managing to maintain its price above 420. Now it's closer to 440, a little bit of a jump. Supply demand here. There is some demand, but it's not that humongous just yet. So yeah, maybe it's going to start going flat here finally for Zydraine. I think it's a possibility. Let's have a look at Megasite as well. Finally stalling too. 700 ISK seem to have been the bottom where the market says, okay, that's low enough for Megasite. I don't think I've ever seen it that low. And now 5-day moving average crossing 20-day moving average. Maybe that's an interesting tidbit as well here. It's possible that the turnaround is here. I would probably call it a bottom for them, and I'm not sure if they're gonna start taking off right away. It is possible, you know, if you get a lot of new people, a lot of veterans coming back, they see Megasite at these prices, that could definitely trigger their interest. So it is possible, but I would be careful. I would read a lot of this information with RIA in mind, and with what Plex are doing in mind as well. So yeah, interesting mineral market this week, I would say. Let's have a look at some Tech1 chips, see what the impact has been here. This is the Caracal, and I'll write down 1110 for that. Caracal 1-month chart, let's have a look here. Caracal again taking off towards 10.8 million, but I would say that this is not outside of its normal price for the last 3 months. Hanging around the 10.4 million is a normal price. 9.5 for the buyers, 10.5 for the sellers. In between there we've got 10 million. Normal price for the Caracal. Supply demand 15 coming in here, 10.28, 26.19 right there. I think this is still a well-supplied market where the sellers actually have the means to come in whenever they need to, but they know not to flood the market at the moment. That's just how I'm reading the Tech1 market, and so far it's looking like that's a possibility. Here we've got the Dominics. It's known a few good months here. This is 3-month chart. It's coming back towards a more normal price of 178 million. So 175 for the buyers, 182 for the sellers. A little bit more supply than demand here at the moment, 9, 10, 16. So this is putting a little bit of downward pressure on the Dominics, but of course the Dominics has been going up to almost 200 million in the last few months. So I think it's normal that people have been producing a few more of them, and that there is a little bit of a correction. If we take a medium of these 3 months, I'd put it close to 180, 182, something like that. The chart has been above that for quite a while. I think it's normal that it could spend a little bit of time below that as well, so that people actually start to switch their production to something else than the Dominics. This will then have an impact on another product, and like this. To me, the Tech1 market just feels like a well-supplied and stable market at the moment. This is the Drake then, a little bit more of a jump up here. Again, I'm reading this supply here, 45, 42 for the buyers, 22, 17 coming in, a little bit of oversupply yet. But I'm reading this, look at this big spike up to 49, supply came in a pretty big way, making their move on the Drake, cratering the price back down towards 43, supply stopped, you know, people went looking for some other Tech1 stuff that was more lucrative, so the price came back above 45 million, which I would put as a normal price for the Drake at the moment, and it's correcting back again a little bit with some more supply, but all of this feels like it's okay. There is nothing dramatic to report. This here is the Talos coming off of a high of 80 million. There's probably still a little bit of oversupply, but it's not that much anymore. Look at that, 811, 2134, 9 here in the buyer. So again, this is this natural cycle that tends to happen, and that's been going on decently stably in the Tech1 market so far. Talos went up to 80 million, probably a lot of demand. Someone maybe made a move by buying a Talos fleet. The production reacted, started with some oversupply, the price cratered. This is probably going to stop now, considering supply demand is back in a much more realistic situation at 65 to 67 million. I would put a normal Talos price at probably 70 million or something like that. So it's probably going to stop now, and by next week I do think we may see Talos at around the 70 million mark once again, with a stabilization here at the tail end. Yeah, the Tech 1 market, I would say there is no dramas there, no craterings, no which we've seen for the nullsec minerals, for instance. No sustained uptrends either, which we've seen for plex. So yeah, it's just a good market if you want some stable income, I think. Let's move on to some Tech 2 ships then. 1510 for that. Yeah, let's just try and quickly go over these, see if there are some trade opportunities. Absolution is still too high, you know. I think Absolutions below 230 million should be a possibility at some point. At the moment the market just isn't there yet. This is the Astarte, again too high, I would not go that for that one. Claymore too high. Damnation, pretty interesting, you know. You could last week it was closing on 245 million. Let's have a quick look at supply demand here. 237, 248. There is a lot of supply though, so I think it's going to go back down here. I would not invest just yet in the Damnation, although it is in a more interesting territory if I look at this 6-month chart. Here is the Eagle then. Yeah, that's I think a possibility. A quick look at supply demand. Still 17 Eagles here coming in at 180. But 163 for the buyers, I think that's not bad. If you can pick up some buy orders, I think the Eagle, that could be good. EOS, heading for 310 for an EOS. The EOS is of course a pretty unique ship in the sense that it's the only battle cruiser that can field 5 heavy drones, I think. I'm still hesitant, you know, more than 300 million for a command ship, for a battle cruiser. I think it's quite a lot, but it is possible that this is a normal price for the EOS, which has quite a unique feature. Personally, I would not do it. I would not risk it. I think command ships need to go lower, but considering these charts, maybe. Here is the Guardian, working on its 4th spike in 6 months. Not bad at all. I sold mine, I think, on the previous one, so I made some money there. But yeah, 153 for the sellers, 161 for the buyers. So that's not bad. You could have picked up Guardians last week, close to 135. So that's at least 5 million jump up in the 8 million jump up in the buy orders, and a lot more in the sell orders. This is a lovely chart for traders. This is, I think, why I keep an eye on the Tech 2 market, and the Guardian right there working on his 4th spike in 6 months. Not bad. This was an opportunity. This is your time to sell, I think, if you have actually bought Guardians on the information last week or the week before that. This is the Hound. It's actually taking off a little bit, so the 18 million has been a trigger. It went up, corrected a little bit, but now it's already back up, so we're talking 19.6 million for the Hounds. Yeah, sell opportunity right there. You had a nice little buy opportunity here when prices were like at below 18 million, I think, for the buy orders. So yeah, maybe a little bit of an opportunity. It's not a huge spike yet, but keep an eye on that one as well. Manticore cratering towards 19 million, 18.1 million for the buy orders. I think this is a buy opportunity personally. If you look at this entire chart, let's have a look at the Nemesis here. It's been a little bit more stable for the Nemesis. Maybe if you get some good buy orders, maybe, but yeah, I think the Manticore is more interesting if I look at the movement right there at the tail end here. This is the Nighthawk, way too high. It's a command ship once again. This is the Purifier taking off finally. I think I did call this opportunity last week or the week before that. We had Purifiers at, I think, below 17 million. That was not going to last. There is big supply, but I think, well, yeah, someone made his move selling 200 of them at almost 20 million when you could have bought them at probably close to 17 million. You know, that's not bad, you know, more than 10%. Yeah, the spike is here. If you can still sell them, I'd say try to sell them. Otherwise, yeah, you should probably have kept a closer eye on them. But the buy opportunity, at least I call that one. Here is your sell opportunity, but you've got a pretty big seller right here to compete with. Scimitar then, it's still at a reasonable price, I think, for buying some. You had a small intermediate spike here, but it's gonna be hard to tell. Well, actually, look at that demand. If someone makes a move on scimitars, they're buying. You can buy them for below 145. Well, no, I prefer them closer to 140, honestly. I think the real buy opportunity is already over, and I actually think it's gonna start making a move up here for the scimitar. So I think you're a little late for buying these. Sleipnir still too high, honestly, although 250, it's one of the cheaper command ships, maybe, but I would not risk it. And then the Vulture finally, 240 for the Vulture, lowest point in 6 months. Maybe if you're counting on a RIA reaction for something like the Vulture, but to me command ships are just too risky at the moment. I think there's more to be done in the logistics cruisers and in the stealth bombers at the moment. So that's my read of the Tech 2 market. Let's move on to the Tech 3 market. 2030 for that one, and this should be pretty interesting because I'll start with the Tengu, which you've probably looked at the bottom bar there. That is quite significant. 22% jump up. Prices for Tengu at the moment 192, 176 for the buyers. That's not insignificant at all. Tengus, you could have bought them for like 125 or something like that a few months ago. You're selling them for 176 on the buy orders at the moment. So that was some huge profit, pretty big move for the Tengu. If anyone can tell me why this move happened, feel free to put that in the comments. I'm completely in the dark, to be honest. I can only basically show that this happened. Let's see if the Proteus followed suit here. 163, 155, this is the 1 month chart. The spike did happen, but it's already starting to cool down here. Let's have a look at the Loki then. 150, no spike in the Loki, and then the Legion, that was also from a few weeks ago and starting to trend down. So what the hell happened with the Tengu? I don't know, but it's 22% in less than a week. That's quite amazing. Someone must have made a move on this or something, if you have another explanation, because all of the other ones, let's have a look at supply demand here. Legion looking okay, Loki looking a little oversupplied, but not by that much. This big buy order here is going to stall things a little bit. Proteus here not looking that oversupplied, well actually 37, less than a day old, 10 less than a day old, and then here for the Legion, it's hard to say, honestly. It looks like the oversupply is maybe hesitating to come back that quickly here at the moment when it comes to Tech 3 ships. And then this Tengu move out of the blue, a huge move out of the blue, is something quite unique as well. Here is a 6 month chart, look at that. That's almost like a breakout. So Tech 3 market, I'm not sure, just keep an eye on it. Honestly, if supply is not coming back to that as aggressively as before, and people are actually making Tech 3 fleets for their nullsec operations, there may be some opportunities in this one. Yeah, they've actually been able to sustain their prices closer to 155, whereas they had bottoms at like 120, 130. So the Tech 3 market, it may finally start to become an interesting one. I'm gonna have to keep a close eye on that one in the upcoming weeks, I think, especially on the Tengu, see what that one is going to do. Interesting. Finally some real movement in the Tech 3 market. I'll need to try and do my homework on that one. Very interesting. And then finally, not really sure where I'm gonna find those. Data library or something. I want to take a look at Sleeper data library. Let's see in what category this is found. Sleeper components or something like that. Okay, let's see if it's all named Sleeper. Then are all of these blue? Nope. Sleeper data lab. Oh, it's in trade goods probably. Oh, it's all in this. Really? Sleeper data library in trade goods. This is what I wanted to have a look at. Let me see. Trade goods. Sleeper components. There we go. Yeah. So Sleeper data libraries. these are actually bought by NPCs. This is a part of the market that is pretty unusual, and I actually think CCP may not want to maintain. If at some point they find a use for sleeper data libraries, I think they'll put that in the production cycle and start making that a part of the sandbox economy. But at the moment this is NPC bought. This is what the chart of that looks like. It's just 200,000 ISK, which is what the NPCs used to buy it for, and there were no changes here. But CCP has actually changed some of these prices. So currently sleeper data libraries are going for 500,000 ISK, which is more than a doubling of the price, 150% increase. So that is just going to be an increase in revenue for low tier wormholes, C1, C2, C3 I think, which is our wormhole, and that's of course some very good news. And look at this, yep, that one, 150% increase in price. Sleeper Nexus, that one hasn't changed, worth 5 million. Neural Network jumped from probably 50,000 ISK to 200,000 ISK, that's times 4. So yeah, you're making a lot of more money from these sleeper components. So you get this in wormhole combat sites or wormhole sleeper data sites. Whenever you shoot down a sleeper drone, he's going to drop one of these sleeper components right here, and yeah, the data library and the neural networks have increased in price by 200% and 150%. They're worth a lot more now, so yeah, go for those wormhole adventures. I think it's a lot easier to earn back the ship you're risking in a wormhole adventure at the moment. If this had happened earlier, we would have probably moved into a wormhole earlier as well, or did more day trips, because if you go in there in a cruiser, maybe a Tech 2 cruiser or a Tech 1 battle cruiser, which I think is the easiest entry point, you know, something like a Gnosis, something like a Myrmidon, some of those Amar laser battle cruisers are incredible for clearing out data sites in C1, C2s, maybe even C3s if you have a small group. And then with these increased prices of these sleeper components, it's going to be a lot easier for you to earn back the ship that you're risking. And so that's why I wanted to quickly touch on these sleeper components here, just to let you guys know that this did happen, and it's a huge increase in revenue from these wormholes. If you feel like risking a wormhole adventures, there are new ones coming in RIA as well. This is definitely the time to do it, because they're actually worth more than they've ever been, because of this huge increase in some of these components from the NPC demand. So it's not like you have to really go and look for demand by the players on this stuff. It's actually NPCs that will be willing to buy this from you at these prices, no matter how many of them you bring to the market. And so yeah, for our little C1 wormhole, this has been a huge boost. A single combat site is at least 10 million in blue loot in these sleeper components, which will actually fuel our medium boss for an entire day. That's just one combat site. So everything else that we get now in the wormhole is actually just gravy on top. Is actually net revenue that we're earning. It's been yeah, it's a very nice change. It's a lot easier to maintain yourself in a low level wormhole thanks to this change, so that's why I wanted to touch on this one as well. Anyways, that's going to be it for this EVE Talk, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.